time to hit up the crew.
Hello?
Hey, Squidward, long time no speak.
Hey, Teen Can Crush. How's it been hanging, buddy?
Good. Have you seen the nerfs? Looks like acid is in buddy.
Alright. Hold on, I have a beep. Hello?
What's up?
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 Wait up, sup.
Alright, I'm going to try a different video today. Hopefully everything is recording properly. But I'm bringing back my OG team with Scrafty, Tentacruel, and Cresselia with Confusion. I saw a couple other creators making videos on Cresselia with Confusion, which is an anomaly. I mean, this season it makes more sense with the buff, but yeah, in the past, I've actually run this team since Season 3, on and off, just seeing if it's still valid, depending on the meta changes with the move alterations and such. But yeah, I'm actually running Classic Scrafty. I took Thunder Punch off my Scrafty, put back on Pup, and Tentacruel actually has Acid now. It's not new this season. I just have not even run this team since that edition for Tentacruel. So pretty much what I'm doing here is, if you're new to the channel, the whole point of this was kind of like a pseudo ABB line for fairy leads with Scrafty in the front. And yeah, so far, out of the battles I've done with my team, it's actually been very nice. But yeah, I used to, the whole point of this team was baiting, and we don't need shields to win the battle. Like, if you don't commit shields, you might still lose to this team, purely just based on the fast attack damage racked up with acid spray. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of get back into making another video showcasing this team. It just came to mind after seeing a couple of creators making a video on Cresselia. I was like, wait, I can bring back my OG team potentially, and maybe it's good this season. And yeah, I've hit Legend with this team in the past. Since Season 3, I've run this team. It's kind of insane. But yeah, originally when Azumarill was a main threat in the Great League, this is what this team was mainly meant for. I would a lot of times safe swap to Cresselia and try to close with Tentacruel. But it's kind of situational based on the lead, what I'll switch in. Typically, Tentacruel is kind of like my safe swap, but there's really no designated safe swap on this team. You kind of just have to think, whenever you have your lead Pokemon, whichever one in my backline I actually want to match up with that, I switch to the opposite Pokemon. So that's a good rule of thumb. And honestly, that type of thing will just come with experience as well. Maybe you're getting some of that audio ASMR of the mowing the lawn and such, which would be kind of cool if that's picking up in this. But yeah, I just want to try something different with my video to, you know, even though this channel to a lot of people will just be, I just want to look at the team, copy it, and run it. I mean, I don't know actually. I don't really know what the player experience is like when they're watching a video on YouTube for this type of content, but I just wanted to be a little bit more creative about the aesthetic of my videos, and I've been getting back into the more creative aspect of the intros and such, so I hope you've appreciated that. If you do, hit that like button, and maybe even leave a comment about it. It does help my content out a lot here in the platform. But yeah, I guess Scizor lead, I'm going to stay in on that, but they end up switching to Lapras, and Lapras actually isn't too bad now that it has Psy Wave as its fast attack. So I can actually kind of stay in here. I'm going to get a foul play off, just get some nice chip damage off, and then I'm going to end up switching into Cress here. Oh wait, actually I think I end up just staying in and going for the straight. Wow, yeah, I guess I just decided to stay in, thinking that maybe this would be my best case scenario. I got a little tunnel visioned, I feel like, in this battle, because I think it might have been a good option to at least preserve Scrafty with Scizor in the back. But I guess, for whatever reason, I didn't think it mattered. But yeah, I think that might have been problematic here. If I'm not mistaken, I would almost assume this is a loss. But at the same time, maybe it's not a loss, and I just got extremely lucky. So I think the thing about, like, it doesn't really seem like you would want to use Confusion, right? But look at this. With Acid Spray and Confusion on this Shadow Scizor, I mean, there's a lot of factors here. leading into it just getting melted. It's actually kind of insane how I was able to even win this, because in my brain I felt like this would be really tough, but as you can tell, it's getting pretty close for comfort here, and fortunately for me, I will be able to just barely get to another move here. I don't know if this is actually... Yeah, they didn't shield because it didn't matter. I think with the defense drop plus the fast attack damage, it would have been good. I think this one I end up just barely losing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they have a Corviknight also in the back, which I don't know if this is my second time recording this, so maybe I didn't mention it. I probably did, but Corviknight's not... Typically, Skarmory was one of the harder Pokemon for this line to deal with, but I think Corviknight's actually trickier just due to its defense stats. It feels like... I mean, I haven't done the breakdown, but it feels like Corviknight is just a lot bulkier, which would make sense. I'm pretty sure it has extremely high... I mean, so does Skarmory, but maybe it's the HP as well is what's kind of like adding here, because with Skarmory, Scrafty can actually do a pretty good job of flipping that matchup with the pup bait counter chip damage and then foul plays sneaking in. But yeah, this battle, I mean, granted, maybe Thunder Punch could have been extremely helpful in this battle. I'm not really sure if I would want to keep Pup or Thunder Punch on Scrafty. As of right now, I switched to Pup just to have a little bit more of a like bait slash punish move where I can kind of just rack up my fast attack damage. But to be honest, Thunder Punch may have actually been extremely beneficial in this match. I mean, granted, Altaria, it's neutral anyways with the dragon typing, so it's not like I'm getting a huge advantage there, but maybe against Corviknight it could have been beneficial. But I don't know, I didn't really do any like calcs on Corviknight in regards to that. So yeah, this is going to be just kind of like a loss pretty much. So GG's to them. Definitely a little tricky, but a lot of like beneficial leads for Scrafty I've noticed. I mean, Gastrodon I'm not particularly afraid of. They do end up switching in Gligar here, which again, I will switch out, but getting off a foul play before I do that is actually going to be very beneficial for me as well. So they're going to be throwing digs at me because they have Aerial Ace, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they revealed it yet, but they definitely have Aerial Ace instead of Night Slash, where they would just be throwing Night Slashes here to try to get a boost in the super effective damage, and it's less energy overall. Yeah, they end up having this Wigglytuff in the back, which is really good for me. I can kind of just play out this matchup, lose the switch situation. Well, not lose the switch, but I don't want to switch out because I want to be able to line up Tentacruel perfectly with the Wigglytuff. And honestly, this is not going to be a problematic battle at this point. I mean, I'm just bringing Gastrodon. I could even take some of these moves relatively safe, realistically. I don't have to shield this. But at the same time, it's not really a big deal if I need to shield. I mean, I probably could have just taken that realistically, and that would have been quite okay. But this works too. I mean, Tentacruel just needed to get off another Scald, but they end up switching Wigglytuff here, which just guarantees my win. Because all I'm really going to have to do at this point is just go for a straight farm down. And I'll just preserve all of my energy for whenever Gastrodon comes back in, and I'll just throw a Scald for the win. Yeah. So that is a GG. Let's see here, what do we got in our next? So that's a 4-1 set, and the one loss was against the Altaria lead, which is already a bad lead, and then they had a Corviknight in the back, which is probably one of the harder Pokemon to play around. It's not that you can't win against Corviknight, it's just that it's extremely situational if you're going to be a Corviknight team. So I switch in my Cresselia here, and this is looking super good just because I have such a great matchup, and they're pretty much going to have to commit the shield unless I just want to get one shot. And I decided to commit one shield. I mean, I didn't have to. Really unnecessary, but the beautiful thing about this, because they had this Willius lead, they bring it in and they assume they're just going to catch a Grass Knot. I just destroy it with the Moonblast, and that just puts me in a really good position to kind of clean up this match. I thought I could maybe farm down, but then I realized I don't think it's going to be possible. So I do end up going for the pup, just to make sure I can assure that switch. Cresselia in the back. A lot of Cresselia this season I've noticed, which, you know, makes sense. It seems to have some relatively good typing and matchups against the current popular meta. But fortunately for me, I can kind of just keep on pupping down here, and this will be a gradual win for me. GG. So let's see. Another Gastrodon lead. A lot of Gastrodon leads right now. I have another idea for a team, and I was actually doing these battles mainly to get some Stardust to help power up that team. But we'll see if I end up doing another video on the Great League before, you know, another format catches my interest. But definitely really happy to be able to just kind of revisit this team every so often. And obviously there's some changes, like Tentacruel has Acid now. But yeah, and I put Power Punch back on instead of Thunder Punch on Scrafty. But yeah, I really like this team. I've felt fairly comfortable with it. I mean, the meta's changed. And like I said, there's some matchups I'm going to have to like, kind of learn how to play around better. But I mean, realistically, you're going to face teams that you just kind of get unlucky against in general with bad alignment and then backline problems. But yeah, for the most part, I've really enjoyed kind of just casually playing this season. I kind of took a break for a couple weeks here after posting my Coffin video, which if you've not checked that out, check out my level 51 best buddy Coffin in the Great League video. It's my most recent video. It's pretty insane. I was actually able to get a 5-0 with Coffin, and Coffin doesn't even reach 1400 CP in the Great League. It's insane. That's pretty much where all my Stardust went recently. It was to that. Alright, yeah. Pretty nice battle there at the end with the Ninetales. Okay, so I get a Wigglytuff lead, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is a great example of a battle where all damage matters. So, Oranguru, I always, like, am torn. I know it's Oranguru, but I always say Oranguru, because it's a bad habit. So, this is such a good situation for me, just because I connected that Moonblast right out the gates here. But the problem is, it's still going to be extremely tough to make this battle win. Oranguru actually kind of has a very unique role in this format. I mean, it definitely kind of like, the normal Psychic type is so interesting. Being able to kind of like sit in on Ghost types. Not that I have any Ghost types on this team, but I just feel like I have such a weird team for it. I mean, my best option would be Scrafty, realistically, to deal with it. Which, you know, wasn't really happening. I wanted to kind of preserve it. You know what, maybe I should have just left Scrafty in for the matchup, realistically, kind of like looking at how this played out. But I think switching too was a problem, but the real problem is I didn't throw that pup, if I'm not mistaken. There was like I think there was an opportunity for me to get off a move on Wigglytuff with pup. I'm sorry, I kind of missed it there. I was like not paying attention 100%. But they end up having this Stunfisk in the back, and I think this is the battle that, yeah, pretty much I shield here, but it doesn't actually matter. No, actually, I don't think this matters. I think them just having the Stunfisk in the back line. I think I'm thinking of a different battle that I had with a Wigglytuff where I just barely lost it. This one, I don't think I really had the option to win that, realistically. I think that Stunfisk just had me cooked in the back. Roll out Blastoise. So, this actually is kind of interesting because I'm not particularly threatened by the fast attack, but the Hydro Cannons will hurt a little. I can actually take one safely. I will shield one of them at least, but that does put me, I think, in a decent position. They end up bringing in Typhlosion. I'm going to throw a Foul Play. I probably could have bait here, thinking that maybe they would want to shield. And I will farm just a little bit. I think I just decide at this point, I kind of didn't switch out. I should just let it go. So I'm just going to let my Scrafty go here, and I'm going to bring in Cresselia, and I'm going to try to catch a move on Tentacruel, aka the Blast Burn. And it does work out, but honestly, that still does so much damage. Wow. That's pretty impressive. In comes in Blastoise again. I'm just going to throw Acid Spray. Unfortunately, this won't be enough to knock it out. But they do switch, and I will go for another Acid Spray into Cresselia, because what my plan here is, I'm actually just going to try to Confusion down on Cresselia, or at least go for like a Grass Knot. Rock Tomb lowers my attack, but since I lowered the defense, it kind of evens out a little bit. And yeah, as you can see, just because of the Shadow variant, it's really just taking this damage, and I can kind of just commit the shield knowing that there's really nothing they're going to be able to do, because the Blastoise pretty much has to use all its energy here to get rid of my Cresselia, and then I can just farm down with Tentacruel, so GG's. Alright, Lapras lead. I'd say this is a pretty good lead for me, considering I can kind of just take those fast attacks well, and from here I can just kind of take the first Sparkling Aria. I'm going to go straight for Foul Play because there's a good chance they're not going to shield, and that works out great for me. So I'm going to kind of farm down. I think I decided to just even let the second one go through, knowing that I could just barely live it. I win the lead. In comes Togekiss, and I think I just let myself go here. And then I bring in Tentacruel, which is going to look really good for me. And from here, they switch in Cresselia, which I'm going to go for Acid Spray. This is very similar to my last battle where I Acid Spray, and then I bring in Cresselia with Confusion to try to just chip away at Cresselia as much as possible. And yeah, this is looking pretty solid. Go for the Grass Knot, they do shield. I don't really need the shield here personally, so I'll let this go through. And attack drop doesn't matter that much. They end up bringing in the Togekiss, so I will end up saving my energy on Cresselia. I kind of overtapped there, and I'm going to switch in Tentacruel. So this is super good because at this point there's really nothing they can do. I'm going to farm down Togekiss, and I have a bunch of energy for Cresselia, so I'm just going to go for the Acid Spray. Even if they don't shield it, I could probably just farm down with Confusion at that point after they expel their energy into Tentacruel. So I end up throwing the Grass Knot, I guess thinking that's what I gotta do. It does actually get down to the wire there, but I think I still pretty much had it regardless. But yeah, another 4-1 set, and yeah, happy to share this team. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the Sass Squad's getting stronger each and every day. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one. And if you'd like to watch more content from me, YouTube thinks you would like this video, and here's a playlist to all my Go Battle League videos.